This is it. Two teams remain playing for a national title. USC making their third appearance in the championship. They've won the previous 2 times they've been here. UCLA won it all last year. Who will take home the trophy in this rivalry that extends beyond the beach?
USC, UCLA, I still go back to being a little kid.
Proximity has bred hostilities.
A cross-town rivalry, you never know what's going to happen.
Sometimes in this game, it's brother against brother.
There are games, and then there's the USC-UCLA game.
UCLA runs LA. Everybody understand that. Let's go.
It's a great rivalry. Great talent on both sides of town.
We would really be looked down on in school. They really want us to beat UCLA.
Definitely been back and forth this whole season, and that's what makes this tournament special too. Like, we don't know what's going to happen.
At the end of the day, having those victories against UCLA are definitely a little bit sweeter. This year, if we can win and tie their record of championships, that would just be the cherry on top.
Well, today's flyover courtesy of a T-6B provided by the Training Squadron 2, the Navy's oldest primary training squad. That's what kicked things off here at the National Championship duel right at the end of the national anthem. Countdown is on, almost 5 minutes away from first serve at the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship between the #1 seed USC and the #2 seed UCLA. This format a little bit different than we've seen on Friday and Saturday. We will play in flights, meaning we will see the 4s and 5s play first. When they're done, the 1s, 2s, and 3s will come on and play. The match setup is still the same. It's best 2 out of 3, and each match counts as a point. The first team to get 3 points on the board is winning the trophy and taking home that national title. It's time to meet the pairs for USC and UCLA.
Hi, I'm Haley Hallgren. I'm a sophomore at USC, and my partner at the 3s position, Axie Coletto, and I are the old married couple on the team. At the 1s pair, we have Tina Gradina, the Latvian queen, and April Bustamante, the crazy Argentinian. At the 2s pair, we have Sammy Slater and Therese Cannon, and they're the ones with the handshake. At the 4s pair, we have Joy Dennis and Maya Kaiser, and they're always ready for a photo op. At the 5s pair, we have Cami Dorn and Molly Eberton, and they're silent but deadly.
Hi, my name is Sarah Sponsel. I'm a 5th year at UCLA.
And I'm Lily Justine. I'm a junior at UCLA, and we're the 2 pair.
And we're Team Clench.
Now let's introduce you to the rest of our team.
At the 1s pair, we have Megan and Nicole Mcnamara, and we said last year that they could not dance, and we're back here again at Gulf Shores, and they still can't dance. At Team 3, we got Zana Muno and Abby Van Winkle.
We call them Team Foodie because Zana loves to cook, and Abby loves to eat what Zana cooks.
Yep. At Team 4, we have Maddie Yeomans and Savvy Simo, and we call them the People's Choice because everyone loves them. They're always rooting for us, and yeah, you just can't hate them as people. They're amazing. At the 5s pair, we have Lindsay Sparks and Izzy Carey, and we call them
Team Business because they show up and they take care of business.
Always a good matchup when we have UCLA and USC. Here's how the pairs break down. And Dane, you're looking at the 4s too.
Yeah, the 4s I think are crucial for the USC Trojans to win. If they lose in that position, it could be tough. Remember, Maddie Yeomans stepped in for Leah Monkhouse, who suffered from dehydration the other day. So a relatively new team with Yeomans and Simo, who are extremely tough.
Sam Gore and Holly McPeak will be watching the 5s to start for us.
Thank you very much, Courtney. We certainly will. And the 5s for UCLA have a couple of different nicknames. One of them is Team Textbook because they're such students of the game, but they are one of the premier 5 pairs in the nation.
They certainly are. Senior Izzy Carey, freshman Lindsay Sparks, always dependable to score a point on the board for UCLA.
Now for USC, their 5 pairs lost this morning. How do they recover?
Cami Dorn and Molly Eberton lost a heartbreaker in 3 sets. They need to throw it away, find the energy, one more match left in their season, win or not.
It has been a grueling road to the championship for USC, and for more on that, let's go to Holly Rowe.
USC is trying to become the first team to lose their first duel and win a championship in beach volleyball history for the NCAA. They're trying to do it today despite already being here on the sand about 8 o'clock this morning. They had a difficult match against LSU. They were right down to the wire. In between, they went and really recovered in their hotel room. They've been taking snacks, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, trying to get in the air conditioning and get their bodies to cool down. They have played 561 more points than UCLA. Keep in mind, the Bruins did this same path last year, losing their second duel here on the sand, and they were able to come out of the elimination bracket. It is very difficult, but USC is used to playing 2 duels a day. They say this is business as usual, and they are mentally prepared and physically prepared for this moment.
Yeah, hopefully that recovery was quick and they are ready to go, because this is the biggest duel they've played in all season. USC does lead the all-time series with its rival UCLA, and the Trojans have won the last 3 meetings, including those 2 wins in the Pac-12 championships that allowed them to take back the Pac-12 championship title.
Yeah, it's just incredible. You go back to like April 7th, I believe, was the date where UCLA was still undefeated. Everyone thought they might run the table on the entire season, but that's when USC defeated UCLA, and then we saw just earlier where they defeated UCLA once again in the Pac-12 championship just a week ago. So could that be in the back of mind of the Bruins?
We will start with the 4s and the 5s playing first. This is a winner-take-all duel. The first team to put 3 points on the board will win the national championship. Let's start with the 4s. Maddie Yeomans and Savvy Simo taking on Joy Dennis and Maya Kaiser. And as you mentioned, Dane, Maddie Yeomans, this is only her 3rd match she has played in the national championship. She was inserted in their 2nd duel against Florida State after Leah Monkhouse went down.
Yeah, you have 2 subs when you come. You have 10 starters, of course, right? 5 pairs, but you only have 2 subs. And so if someone goes down, a substitute is inserted in that exact position, and the player that goes out cannot return.
Yeah, for the entire tournament, not just that day. So that's why you see Maddie Yeomans in here. This is the first weekend they have played together this season, but they have played together before the tournament. Here comes Joy Dennis. Down the line, point USC. Leah Monkhouse is out after being dehydrated after that first duel against Hawaii on Friday. They ended up taking her to the hospital. We're glad to see her back out on the beach, but as you said, once you make that substitution, you cannot re-enter a player for the tournament.
Yeah, that's got to be tough for her to watch from the sidelines, but those things can happen. If you get dehydrated, you start to cramp, you start to feel the ill effects of the heat, then you know what? You end up in the hospital, and hopefully she is healthy and will return to play next year. But her season is done. It's brutal, you know. You got to stay out there, and that's one thing about beach volleyball. Fatigue and endurance are a huge factor.
These 2 pairings have not played each other together. There's been some shuffling at the 4s and 5s for both. For USC, if you're Joy Dennis and Maya Kaiser, you've got to regroup quickly, because you just dropped that match earlier today to LSU at the 4 spot.
And the crazy thing is they won the first set. Looked like they were going to win in 2 straight sets, but USC didn't close the door. LSU came back. And the thing to note is the fact that LSU targeted Maya Kaiser the entire time. So she may be a little more fatigued than Joy Dennis, who wasn't served as often.
Maya Kaiser wearing number 3 with the red visor. Savvy Simo lays out for it, and Maddie Yeomans sends it over. You're going to see scrappy play like that from this UCLA pair.
Yeah, that was solid, but notice the USC Trojans, after they hit the ball, they stand there and they watch the great play by Savvy Simo. Dig the ball and over to the back court. As soon as the ball clears the net, you got to get in your defensive stance and you got to be ready.
Playing to 21 in the first 2 sets. You have to win by 2. These 4 and 5 pairs who start the play when we go into flights are really important.
Well, they're huge, because if you end up down 2-0, as USC did in that elimination final, to get to this point, the pressure's on 1, 2, and 3, and you do not want to put that type of pressure on. You want to steal at least one of these 4 or 5 positions.
We did see USC, after dropping the 4s and 5s, came back and won at the 1s, 2s, and 3s against LSU. But Dane, you said against UCLA, they really don't need to do that.
Well, remember what we talked about. USC lost the first round. No team has ever lost in the first round, come back through the elimination, and won the championship because you play extra volleyball. They've played 2 extra matches than UCLA, and so fatigue could be a factor here. It's just a question, can USC overcome that?
Is there any benefit to have already played today?
Well, I think there is. The way this format is, the elimination final, which would be the semifinals of the entire tournament, is played on Sunday morning. So USC got a chance to kind of get the cobwebs out and get things going early. I'm sure that UCLA came down to the beach, got a good sweat, and got warm, but they have not played today, whereas USC has. So that can kind of give the advantage to USC if they're not fatigued.
Here comes Joy Dennis. Man, she really had to work hard to try to take some of the pressure off of Maya Kaiser in their last match against LSU. Yeoman's long, but it was touched. Point for UCLA.
You mentioned Maddie Yeomans substituting in for Leah Monkhouse, who suffered dehydration. Monkhouse more of a ball control, smaller player. UCLA gets a little more size with Yeomans coming in. So those adjustments need to be made.
Stein Metzger, the head coach at UCLA. Of course, his team won the national championship last year. He's a 2-time AVCA National Coach of the Year, facing off against another outstanding coach, Anna Collier, who is the Pac-12 Coach of the Year.
And Anna Collier with over 200 victories as a head coach. The second best coach has less than 150, so she has been dominant in her helm at USC.
How about Maddie Yeomans right now? A perfectly placed little poke to the side.
Here's a good look at the pokey. Right there, accurate, and that ball just tags the outside of the line. Any part of the ball touching the line ruled inbounds.
Service error from Savvy Simo. Simo was a part of Team Wounded Bear last season, as Stein Metzger called them. She played with Zana Muno at the 3s, and they battled all kinds of injuries, but he said, you know, I never worry about Savvy Simo or Zana because they just fight through it and they go out and still play really good volleyball.
You know, Stein Metzger himself was a fighter, a great defensive player. I competed with him in the 2004 Olympics in Athens, where he finished in 5th place. And I'll tell you what, his type of style has really translated in the players that he gets. If you looked at these two teams, you would say UCLA has speed over size for USC. So ball control is a premium for Stein Metzger.
He talked to us about that ball control, and he talked about serving tough, something he didn't feel like they did in the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Pac-12 championship, they kind of put the serve in the back pocket and we're just keeping the ball inbounds. You have to take a risk to try to get ace serves and to try to really get your opposition off balance. And so UCLA will really be focused on that here in this final.
Playing to 21 here in set 1. This is Joy Dennis back to serve. Great up by Dennis, and it leads to a point. A close first set at the 4s. Joy Dennis with a great dig and able to finish it off. I don't think you could have a better setting for a national championship. Here we are in Gulf Shores, Alabama, the championship duel between UCLA and USC. The 4s and 5s are both in action right now. We want to look in on the 5s with Sam Gore and Holly McPeak.
Thanks, Courtney. I agree with you about the setting here, and this event is sold out today, standing room only around these courts. And here at the Fives, remember UCLA, this is one of their strong pairs. They were on a 3-0 run at the technical timeout. When they came out, USC has scored 2 of the last points.
Yeah, right now USC on the better side. You can see the wind blowing the flags behind Cammie Dorn before she serves, so she can be extra aggressive on that jump top spin serve.
Nice touch shot.
Lindsay Sparks, so crafty. She's used all of her different varied offenses. We've seen power, cut shots, pokies, everything. Very experienced on the beach.
We have seen the wind impact the flight of the ball dramatically in the warm-ups. It's picked up as the day has progressed. And finding the opening there is number 30 in black. That is Molly Eberton, a freshman from Saratoga, California, all Pac-12 freshman team. Yesterday was her 19th birthday. Beautiful swing there by Sparks to pick up another point for the Bruins, 15-12.
Right now, UCLA's got the wind at their back and serve receive, so Izzy Carey's going to get it to the player they want the ball on.
Carey, the senior, Sparks is the freshman in this team. They're called Team Business, Team Textbook. Very methodical and tactical, and they win a lot. There's a kill by Carey to go up 16-12. Holly Rowe is standing by on a very windy court. Holly.
That's right. I've been trying to monitor the wind here with my little X-Tech wind apparatus, and it has gotten up as much as 4 miles per hour, which compared to yesterday, winds were gusting up to about 9 miles per hour yesterday. So it is definitely windier than it was early this morning for that match against USC and LSU, but only about 4 miles an hour right now on this court, number 5.
Stein Metzger, the UCLA coach, is very much a student of the wind, and Anna Collier really doesn't seem to care that much about the wind. They have very different philosophies in the way they approach wind.
They certainly did. Stein Metzger put a premium last year on making his team aware of the wind, how to use it to your advantage, and how not to get in trouble in the wind. And it's a huge asset to feel comfortable when the wind picks up.
Service error at 17-13 UCLA in this opening set. We played a 21 win by 2. You need to win 3 duels, 3 matches to win the duel. Dorn and Eberton lost this morning. They're trying to recover from that. But remember, just last weekend, USC upset UCLA for the Pac-12 championship, and that changed the seedings for this national championship. Carey and Sparks, one of the top 5 pairs in the nation this season. They come in on a 12-match win streak. And a timeout. So let's head back over to the 4s.
Well, Sam and Holly, we've seen some unforced errors creep in for Joy Dennis and Maya Kaiser, and unfortunately that's not something new for this pair.
Yeah, unforced errors will kill you if you're not making the other team earn their points. Balls hit out of bounds and free ball situations, you have to capitalize, and that has been an issue all season long for Joy Dennis and Maya Kaiser. They have to be more consistent right here. UCLA, like I said, they put a premium on ball control. They're going to keep it in as much as possible. USC has to do the same if they're going to match them.
So timeout has been called on both courts in action right now. I got to ask Holly McPeak now, because you've played in this rivalry, UCLA, USC. What is it like? Is it a little bit different?
Well, I think it's traditional, like your cross-state or cross-city rival. I mean, this is for bragging rights in LA, but also across the country when you're playing for an NCAA title.
Definitely the stakes even higher when you're facing your rival on the biggest stage on the beach. We are playing in flights right now. That's why the 4s and 5s are playing right now. Once they conclude, the 1s, 2s, and 3s will come on. The 5s, they're up, they're going. Let's get over to Sam and Holly.
5s are back up after the timeout. It is 19-14 UCLA. Carey and Sparks trying to continue their 12-match win streak and pick up the point for UCLA. We're getting close to the end of the opening set. It's been all UCLA so far in this set.
That's a big point right there for USC, because they're on the bad side, the wind at their back, and it's hard to score points. It's hard to get a nice transition set up to the net and keep that ball in the court.
Uberta with a good jump serve. She doesn't use it there. Smart shot by number 23 in white, Lindsay Sparks, the freshman.
That was a good decision by Uberta not to use her jump serve because the wind is at her back. She's going to toss it. It's going to blow into the court, and she cannot make good hand contact. So now USC is on the better side, wind in their face. Look for Cami Dorn and Molly Uberta to go for it on their serve.
There is a 6-mile-an-hour wind in her face as we have it measured. It is set point for UCLA. And you can see the wind impact the flight of the ball. USC stays alive. Still set point for UCLA, however. Fours are on the right. They're getting close to finishing their set as well.
Really close. UCLA up 19-13 on the right side of your screen. And that one goes wide.
Set point UCLA on the left side of your screen. And UCLA takes the opening set at the 5s.
Yeomans makes it set point at the 4s.
Yeomans looking strong. That ball just out of bounds. I like the risk, though. Serving the ball into the wind, down the line. Hopefully it will dance and be close. That's a decision that Maya Kaiser has to make. She made a good decision letting that ball go, but right now, the Trojans are in a big hole in this first set, but they are on the better side. The wind is in their face. So Joy Dennis has a great jump serve. Let's see if she can manufacture a couple points.
Oh, pass really tight at the net, an ace for Joy Dennis. Still set point for UCLA.
Yeah, Joy Dennis is going to get in that corner closest to the ocean because the wind's coming off the land into the sea, and there it is.
Set 1 going to Maddie Yeomans and Savvy Simo. UCLA has taken the first set at the 4s and at the 5s. They just need one more set win to put a point on the board. Man, we want to look at the 4s because USC has continued to suffer from those unforced errors.
Yeah, at this level, you have to keep the ball in play if you're in trouble. You can't go for a winner when you're falling backwards. You got to keep the serve in, and you got to limit your mistakes. And right now, USC not putting any pressure on the UCLA Bruins. The Bruins are the ones that are keeping that ball in play and really taking care of business. You can see they're coached by Jenny Johnson-Jordan right there. She actually is the daughter of Olympic star Rafer Johnson, who won the 1960 decathlon for the United States, and she's quite the player as well. She was in the 2000 Olympics where she finished 5th place, and in those Olympics, if you can imagine, she was coached by Anna Collier. And so it's a small volleyball world for sure, but she's definitely one of the best coaches in the nation. And she's very understated, very low pro.
We have some amazing coaches in this duel on both sides for USC and UCLA. This format a little bit different today than what we saw on Saturday and Friday. We are playing in flights. That's why the 4s and 5s are playing first. Once they wrap up here, then the 1s, 2s, and 3s will come on. But still, the first team to win on 3 courts is going to win the national championship. Let's go to Holly.
Well, guys, you're talking about the assistant coach, Jenny Johnson-Jordan of UCLA, and the Izzy Carey pair said that she's without a doubt the rock of our team, the voice of reason. She holds us together. She's a Bruin at heart from a Bruin family, and that is very special to be around. She cares so deeply as a human being. It's been her whole life with her father being there, and they feel that that really comes through.
Definitely makes a difference when, you know, you've played for the school, you know what it's like, you feel the passion for that team. It's cool the players can see that.
There's big concern on the USC Trojan side. Right now, Maya Kaiser seems to have lost her focus. She has just asked her partner, Joy Dennis, to switch sides. Joy's trying to clap it out and get them fired up. And right now, if you're Joy Dennis, you're trying to help your partner get out of a hole. But look how scrappy UCLA is.
Savvy Simo just going after it, and it goes long. The scrappiness paying off for the Bruins.
And that's exactly what I said. Keep the ball in, give yourself a second, third, fourth opportunity. UCLA is doing that, USC is not.
That's why they're up 3-0 right now. They just need to win this set, and they are going to put a point on the board in this national championship.
Remember, Courtney, you asked me what was the pivotal pair, and I believe it's the fours. If USC cannot get a win at the fours, it is going to be very difficult for them to win a national title here.
UCLA playing without Leah Monkhouse. Maddie Yeomans in her place after she is out with dehydration yesterday, cannot re-enter. But she should be proud of this fours pair right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeomans has come in and really stepped up when she was needed. You just don't know when you come as a substitute. Usually you're not going to get any action at all. So when your number's called, you want to go out there and do your thing that you've been training for all year long, and Yeomans has done that.
Yeah, last season in this tournament, I don't think we saw any of the alternates come in out of all 8 teams. Yeomans, a junior out of California. Stepping in very nicely with Savvy Simo. In? No, they say it was out.
Savvy Simo was either looking for a touch call or the fact that that ball might have hit the outside of the line, but it's not to be. Point for SC.
So 3 straight points here for USC. UCLA was up 3-0. Oh, it worked for Savvy Simo.
Yeah, risky play going over on 2, but you could tell USC off balance right there and not able to execute. You see the coaches on the walk and trot trying to make it happen. There's the poke. So UCLA in complete trouble, but USC out of position. When the team on the other side of the net is in trouble, you better be ready for a bit of a kind of, we like to call it a goofy play. You don't know what's going to happen, but if you're not ready, it's so hard to make it happen.
Yeomans drops back. Nobody on. Great decision.
We say a player is terminal when they are able to go up, attack, and put that ball to the sand. Right now, Maddie Yeomans is doing it. Maya Kaiser has to start doing it because they're targeting her. There's the roll shot. She's having to hit the ball multiple times per rally to get it down. What a read by Simo.
Nobody on for Kaiser. Simo tried to chase it down.
So Courtney, you see that last hit by Maya Kaiser? It had a little more umph in it. It had a little more power. You have to do that on your first swing. You can't wait till your 3rd swing in a rally or it's too late. See, when she hits like that, there's no stopping her. So she has to come on the initial contact like that every single time. It's a lot of work, but it can be done. Oh.
That was beautiful to go behind Maddie Yeomans.
Savvy Simo is a tenacious player. Look at that big double arm lift, gets her hand nice and high, and then snaps it down to the sand. Oh, the UCLA Bruins are not gonna like that. They thought there was a double contact, but you know what? The ball ended up out of bounds anyways, so they get the point. You could see them kind of loading up their guns. They were gonna put up a fight if they hadn't won that. Solid shot right there, seeing the court well. If you're Joy Dennis right now, you're not getting a lot of offensive action, so you got to help out Maya Kaiser as much as possible. You maybe need to set her a little further off the net, but right there, that's a beautiful away from body wrist away shot.
Oh, Joy Dennis taking advantage of the overdig. She's really the player that gave them a chance in that match with LSU because Maya Kaiser was getting served and attacked so much.
Yeah, it's almost like role reversal. A few years ago was her first time on the sands here in an NCAA championship, and she had some tough patches. Now she's more the veteran, helping out the younger player in Maya Kaiser, and yeah, she almost took over that match in LSU, but it wasn't enough to pull off the victory, and we're in a similar situation now. UCLA watched that match, and they're going after the same strategy.
USC is trailing at the 4s and 5s. They dropped both of these courts against LSU and still won in the semifinal, but that would be really hard to do again in the same day, especially against UCLA. Simo down the line.
I really love the game of Savvy Simo. Look at her overhand dig. She gets up, and that's the pokey over the block to the open court. She's got all the shots, and she's got such a high volleyball IQ. She knows when to execute the power or the finesse.
Sai Metzger told us her game is really on an upswing right now, which is exactly what you want coming into the NCAAs. Has played on the indoor side too for UCLA. One of the fastest and the strongest kids on this team. 6-3 run for UCLA.
Oh, USC dodging a bullet. An overpass by Joy Dennis, and UCLA didn't make them pay. They kind of gave them a free ball right back. So crucial right there. You got to take advantage anytime you get an opportunity with an open net.
What a serve from Joy Dennis. It's such an advantage when you can serve tough and get your opponent out of system.
Yeah, it's everything. That's the name of the game. Getting your opponent off guard, not with an optimum pass, making them pass maybe 10 feet off the net so they can't get a clean offensive attack.
Savvy Simo's gonna swing hard.
Yeah, like that right there. Beautiful pass, a nice set by Yeomans. There's a nice bump set in the perfect spot for Simo, who comes in and crushes it right down the middle.
Dennis over on 2. Point for USC. USC has got to win this set to force a third set, because a win for UCLA puts a point on the board. Yeomans using the net. 12-9 lead for UCLA at the 4s.
There's Yeomans on the outside. They're in complete control at the 4 pairs versus USC.
UCLA can put points up on the board from either court. 5's in a break right now. The 4s up by 3. We'll check back in with the 5s in just a moment. They're in a timeout.
Yeah, if you're thinking, Dennis and Kaiser have to be thinking, let's just settle down and start playing from right here. Look at that save by UCLA. And you know what, even though that doesn't come over, it plays tricks on you. It's like, how do we get the ball to the ground with this UCLA duo being so scrappy? Almost keeps that in play as Yeomans at the end, and a sigh of relief for Kaiser and Dennis that that was out.
They're just not afraid to go after anything like that.
Oh, good play by USC. That was a really good transition from defense to offense. Maya Kaiser got her platform out, turned, faced in the right position, got a nice little apex, and gave Dennis some time to come in, and they score the point. They're going to need more plays like that to take down Yeomans and Simo.
USC has gone on a 6-3 run to cut it to 1. A must-win set for USC. Over to the fives.
Over at the fives, very similar to the opening set where it was close to start the set, but UCLA has gone on a 5-0 run right now to take a 16-11 lead. UCLA trying to pick up a point here at the fives. This is one of their strongest courts, and they now lead 17-11, having won the last 6 points.
USC's both of their players are 6'1". You want to use your size advantage, but that means you need to pass the ball forward and set each other close to the net. Use your size as an advantage. Right now, USC's on the better side, wind in their face, but Lindsey Sparks and Izzy Carey are putting all sorts of pressure defensively on USC.
Side out USC.
That is exactly what USC needs to do. That looked like an easy side out for Cammie Dorn. Good set close to the net by Molly Uberta, and it pays off for USC.
Dorn with the highest GPA on the USC team, 373 in psychology. She's also a signed model with Brand Models under the name of Cameron Dorn. There's a lot of off-court accomplishments among these four. Izzy Carey, number 30 in white. She's the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Scholar Athlete of the Year and has already graduated.
Izzy Carey has a job waiting for her with SunTrust Investment Banking. She is a smart cookie starting in July in San Francisco. Look at that line shot from the bad side. Perfect execution.
She also has Irish citizenship and is going to play an Olympic qualifier with Ireland later this month before taking that job in the summer. That's wide, point USC.
Lindsey Sparks going up very aggressive with the wind at her back. Just gets a little bit under that ball and can't get on top of it.
Eberton, 19 as of yesterday on the Pac-12 all-freshman team. Little rainbow into the corner, it's good.
That is my favorite shot in volleyball, and it is so hard to execute it that perfectly. Look how deep. First of all, I love the relaxed control, and then to find the coffin corner with the wind at your back, perfectly executed by Lindsey Sparks.
UCLA is 2 points from securing a point at the fives. Side out USC. UCLA's 5 pairs on a 12-match win streak. Dorn will take a second look at serving.
Another hitting error by the Bruins. This team is very consistent. You see that first contact always goes towards the net, and they run a fast tempo offense that allows them a quick attack. But those two unforced hitting errors are unusual.
They have some room to work with, and now a service error gives UCLA a match point at the fives, and USC will take a timeout.
Stein Metzger talking to his fives pairs. They're going to do the slow walk and talk. Lindsey Sparks will go back to serve. Wind in her face. She will be aggressive.
Let's briefly check in with the fours.
Yeah, fours of UCLA on top right now by a point. Dennis and Kaiser trying to hang in there. Let's get back over to the... We'll take a look in at the fives, too. They have...
It is match over at the fives. UCLA has just secured the first point of this championship duel, and really no surprise. This was a point UCLA would go into this duel expecting to get.
Yeah, I mean, 36-2. Izzy Carey and Lindsey Sparks have been spectacular all season long for UCLA.
So let's go back to the fours and see how things pan out.
Well, Dennis and Kaiser are trying to force a third set. They have tied it at 18.
Yeah, they've made it difficult on themselves up until this point. They're starting to clean it up, and you're seeing that reflected in the score. They're trying to limit those unforced errors that were everywhere early on in this second set. And interesting fact, you know, in the Pac-12 championships, USC lost at the 4 and 5. They came back and won at the 1, 2, and 3 positions. They did that this morning in the semifinal versus LSU, losing at 4 and 5, winning at 1, 2, and 3. Now they're trying to pull that trick off once again. If I can relate that to another sport, it's like winning, you know, the basketball tournament with buzzer beaters at the very last second. It's like going to the well too many times, and if UCLA can defeat SC at the 4-5 spot in straight sets, that's even worse, because then the 1, 2, and 3s have to play even quicker. You know, even the more time you can prolong, even if it's another 20 minutes, it's beneficial at this point in the game, because remember, USC has played 2 extra matches because they lost in the first round, and remember, no team has ever come back from a first-round loss and won a national title.
Tied up at 18, you do have to win by 2. We will see the 1, 2, and 3 pairs once we finish up with court 4 here. But yeah, you don't want to put the pressure on the 1, 2, and 3s again, because UCLA has some talented players at their 1, 2, and 3s. We saw in the Pac-12 championship, it came down to the 2s between these 2 schools.
Yeah, and that may happen. It can be done for sure. SC has done it, like I said, in the Pac-12 championship finals, in the semifinals here. They've won at the 1, 2, and 3 position, but against UCLA, it might be a little bit more difficult. But I would be shocked if SC could pull off 1, 2, and 3. I believed at the start of this duel that they had to get one of these matches at 4 or 5, and right now it is extremely tight here at the 4s.
Maya Kaiser will be serving with it all tied up. You have to win by 2. An ace!
That is a huge serve into the wind. You see she takes a nice wrap at it. It looks like it's going out initially for UCLA, but then the wind pushes it down. Oh, and I think that was just out of bounds. Looked like it might have been another ace, but I think the ball landed just wide.
Whew, tied up at 19. Kaiser, an unforced error, gives UCLA match point.
When you're on the left side, as Kaiser is, when you pass the ball, you got to get really outside and wide, especially with the wind blowing in her face.
It's wide. UCLA has 2 points on the board. They just need to win one more match for the trophy. Those unforced errors costly for USC at the 4s.
Well, that was huge. You know, the last 2 points, a serve out of bounds and then a hit into the net and then out of bounds. So many errors on the side of USC. They'll look at the video and the tape of this and basically just be very disappointed on how they executed.
USC is not out of it yet. In their last 4 duels this weekend, they have not dropped a set at the 1s, 2s, and 3s. We will see them next. But let's send it down to Holly, who's talking with the 4s.
Well, Savvy, you are in a position where your regular partner is hospitalized with dehydration, and you have to come out and suddenly have great chemistry and work together with Yeomans, Maddie Yeomans right here. How have you been able to overcome that challenge?
Well, we've played together before last year, and we crushed it. I think we're undefeated together, honestly. Yeah. So just throw that in there. But I think the mindset was just like whoever I go with, because I was either going to go with her or Megan Murray and be a blocker or defender. So whoever I go with, I'm just going to play my best and be the best partner I can be. And I love playing with this girl. She has a great attitude and just keeps me really just calm.
All right. Thank you so much for setting a tone for your team. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
UCLA gets points from the 4s and 5s. If you're USC, it is down to the 1, 2, and 3 pairs again for the second time today with a national championship on the line. UCLA jumped ahead in the national championship duel. They are on top 2-0 on USC. They just need to win on one court to repeat as national champions. USC, though, after losing that opening duel here at the NCAAs, has been on a streak, especially at the 1, 2, and 3 pairs. They have gone 20-0 in sets on that 4-duel win streak through the elimination portion of the bracket. They have to win at all 3 of these spots to win the national championship.
Yeah, it's a daunting task, but like I said, if any team can pull it off, it is this team. Their strongest spots are 1, 2, and 3. The question is, can they dig deep and pull out a magic trick again? They did it at the Pac-12s, they did it this morning, and it's becoming a pattern, but it's not something you want to rely on. You want to have some of the pressure relieved, and right now, all the pressure on 1, 2, and 3. And
at the ones pair, the McNamaras versus Bustamante and Gradina, it's become heated, Holly.
In the last 2 years, I would say this has become maybe the best rivalry as far as pairs go against each other. Last year, the McNamara twins were named the Pac-12 Pair of the Year. A lot of people raised their eyebrows at that, thinking that it should have been Bustamante and Gradina, but this year it has been the USC pairs that have had the upper hand against the McNamara twins. They said in the Pac-12 championship duel, the McNamara twins had a little bit of a short runway for their serve. Their serve wasn't as strong as it typically is, but a bigger runway here. I expect that weapon to be back and in full force today.
We will start with the ones, and it will be UCLA serving first. Megan and Nicole Mcnamara facing Abril Bustamante and Tina Gradina. And Bustamante puts it away. We have all 3 courts streaming live for you on the ESPN app, so if there's a certain pair you would like to watch, just head over to the app and search Beach. We are going to stay with the ones right now. Remember, UCLA just needs to win on one of these courts to win the national championship, and already we see the block of Gradina.
Yeah, Gradina is so solid up there, very deceptive. You don't know where she's going to go. At the last second, she jumps hard into Megan's angle and stuffs it for the first block of this matchup. One thing we're going to really need to keep an eye on, and there's another block. Wow, right at the net. One thing we need to keep an eye on, and head coach Stein Metzger mentioned it, his team needs to serve tough. They weren't able to serve as tough as they would have liked the last meeting, and they know that they need to turn it up if they're going to put any pressure on this Trojan team.
Yeah, this Trojan team has not dropped a set here in the NCAAs. Even though USC lost a duel to Stetson, they still won on their court.
And this is the position where UCLA should really rip it. That wind is in their face right now, and that's going to be a point. The wind is in their face. We call that the good side, where UCLA is right now. The bad side would be where Tina Gradina and Abril Bustamante are. The wind is at their back.
And Megan McNamara with the service error.
Courtney, with that good side and bad side, it really puts a premium on when you're on that good side that you have to capitalize, score some points, and get an advantage. If you don't, you could pay when you go over the bad side.
Yeah, you can really rip your serve and go after a ball when you attack it when you're on the good side because you have the wind coming at you.
Abril Bustamante decided to let that ball go. Take a look at her expression. She takes a look. She could have dug that easily and watched it. Knows that she made a huge mistake right there. That's one of those situations where you got to capitalize. McNamara's aren't going to give you much.
Nicole on the serve.
It's tight.
Ooh, really tight to the net. Oh, Bustamante doesn't mind.
Wow. She broke out the poke shot right here. Way too tight. This is where that physicality starts to pay off, and the size at the net over the McNamaras.
when you don't have that size like the McNamaras, you have to find other ways, other crafty ways to get points, and it starts with serving tough.
Yeah, look at that serve right there. And that's on the bad side. And there's a good glimpse of how effective Tina Gradina is. Not fooled, got that ball up and got the put away. But back to the McNamaras, you're right. Look at this serve. Sharp angle, short in the court, and they are crafty. They always find ways to get around, especially the bigger blockers that they face.
Bustamante, Megan was retreating off of the net. You know, coming into this match, the McNamaras didn't have a block in this tournament.
Yeah, it's wild to think that, but it gives, you know, it gives inspiration to players that are shorter that ball control is a premium, and you can be one of the best teams in the nation and not be huge up at the net.
Service error will give a free point to UCLA.
I like what USC's doing over there. Even though they're missing the serve, they're going for it. And both these teams will really go for it because they know how important serving is. You can't just keep it in.
Oh, how about Nicole Mcnamara, the dig kill?
That was a smart shot right there. She noticed immediately that the Trojans had not recovered and got in a defensive spot, and what does she do? She goes over on the first contact to the deep corner, perfectly executed.
That time Gradina knew where to put it, just in front.
It's so interesting when you get to this type of a level. It becomes a mental game, a mind game. We know that all four of these players can execute, and they're so physically strong and efficient at their shots. It's about doing it and doing it consistently.
Service error for Bustamante. And you talk about serving tough. You are going to have some service errors when you do serve tough, but what's the balance you're looking for?
Well, everyone will kind of give you a different number, but if I have, 3 or 4 aces and 5 or 6 errors, I'll take that ratio, like a 2-to-1 error to ace ratio. But some coaches will tell you differently, so it's kind of a personal thing. I just don't like when a player goes back and just puts the ball in play too easily. You gotta put pressure, and that's where that risk comes in.
Gradina.
But what makes Tina so deceptive is she always comes in strong and hard, so it looks like she's going to hit the ball. So right now what she's doing, look at that rip right down the alley between the blocker and that sideline. But she's establishing her power hit. That'll open up her finesse shots for later on.
We saw her do that same kind of pattern against LSU earlier today when USC played, and it paid off.
Yeah, you want to make the defense respect you and be honest, right? So if they are on their heels waiting for a really heavy serve, or a really heavy hit, then sometimes that short one happens. This serve's really close right here. It was called out of bounds, and here's a great look at the replay.
Yeah, then they called it in because the McNamaras went back to serve.
I don't know what's going to happen right there. That ball was very close, but I believe the head referee saw it in and overruled the line judge, and I think she's going to stick with that call.
Yeah, the benefit they have is that the ball makes a mark on the sand, so they can go look. Nicole Mcnamara has a tough serve.
Oh, so close. The McNamaras with a couple really solid, effective blocks, but it doesn't count as a block in the block category because the ball did not go to the sand.
Megan was looking for that rainbow shot to the back. Here comes Nicole off of Bustamante's arm. Technical timeout at the ones. We'll go over to the twos, and the twos of Lily Justine and Sarah Sponsel are the ones that won the national championship last year against Florida State. It came down to this court.
Yeah, they have their work cut out for them against Sammy Slater and Therese Cannon, who has all sorts of experience. She put that ball down for the USC Trojans a couple of years ago in the national championship. And they have really been putting a lot of pressure on Justine to get points out of her. Sponsel, really solid, hard to crack. It's a solid start for the USC Trojans, up 10-5. And USC trying to pull off that miracle of winning at the 1, 2, and 3 spot, whereas UCLA, as you mentioned, only needs to win one of these matches to get that national title.
Wow, that was awesome! Sarah Sponsel showing off those beautiful hands.
Deceptive back set over the net. Looked so nice right there. And you could almost ask anyone out here, who is the best setter in the nation in college volleyball? And you're going to have Sarah Sponsel's name come up in the conversation every single time.
Sammy Slater on the angle. Therese Cannon and Sammy Slater beat this pair in the Pac-12 championship. It came down to the twos again, and it was Cannon and Slater coming out victorious over Justine and Sponsel. That was just last week. I feel like it was a month ago at this point.
Oh, big hit right there by Lily Justine, going crossbody right down the line. I think this match for UCLA, it's going to really come down to her being consistent and taking charge, because she's going to get the majority of the serves. The Trojans are going to stay away from Sponsel at times, and if Justine can make big plays, UCLA will be in a great position.
Tight to the net, but Slater gets the swing off, and there's the point for USC. Going to 21 in the first set, you have to win by 2.
Nice poke shot right there. I believe, you know, on all 3 courts that are going on right now, if USC can win the first set, it kind of puts out of your mind that you're down 2-0 in the duel. And it takes a little bit of pressure off, but you really need to win that first set. You lose that first set, the pressure only increases.
It's close on every court. All 3 streaming live on the ESPN app if there's a certain court you want to watch. It's long.
Wow, a major error right there by Sammy Slater, out of bounds, and USC up on the 2 pairs court.
All 3 courts streaming live on the ESPN app. UCLA has just to win at one of these courts, and they will win the national championship. Let's check in with the threes with Sam Gore and Holly McPeak.
Here at the threes, both head coaches are on this court. They just had the walk and talk. UCLA took the lead for the second time at 11-10 and have held on 15-13. It's Zana Muno and Abby Van Winkle against Haley Hallgren and Alexandra Paletto. We saw Alexandra Paletto and Haley Hallgren this morning, and they looked very good, but they have their work cut out for them here with this senior freshman pair. Another point for UCLA.
It's all about ball control on this court. Zana Muno is one of the best defenders on the beach. Abby Van Winkle presents a pretty big block at the net, but look at that transition set, Van Winkle to Muno. Perfect. Enough space for her to hit around Paletto.
Muno, a senior, she is going to play professionally with Cal Poly's Chrissy Jones, who they met when they played indoor at the University of Washington. They also played in the U19 World Pair Championships and lost to the Twins in the semis. So that's what her future will look like immediately after she finishes. Let's head back to the ones while the threes are on a sit down.
Oh, it just took a break here at the ones, but the twins, Sam, are up, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Bustamante and Gradina with some aggressive play right now.
Yeah, I think they're out serving right now, Bustamante and Gradina, and they're out ball controlling them. There's a nice little breeze, and the more wind, the better for a ball control team, and that's exactly what the McNamaras are.
USC is up at the twos. Sammy Slater and Therese Cannon lead by 5 in this first set on top of Lily Justine and Sarah Sponsel. Pink fanny packs in full force for UCLA. They've been running around the grounds all day. Lily Justine to the corner. What do you think about the fanny packs, Holly?
Well, first of all, I'm pro fanny pack. I sport one myself at every possible occasion. But I love this. These are the young ladies who are part of the team who are not playing in these duels right now, and they're calling themselves the support squad. I actually went and checked inside the fanny packs. They've got everything from contact solution to snacks to body things to keep your electrolytes going, and they've got lens wipes for your glasses. So even though they're not on the court, they are totally in support. I love support squad fanny pack situations.
It's been really cool to see the teams rally around these pairs that are playing. We saw LSU had some crazy fans and teammates cheering for them.
Yeah, it looked like Savvy Simo got in on the fanny pack squad. She was right in the middle of it. Maybe she, after getting her victory, went over and picked up her fanny pack.
The threes are up. Let's go back to Sam and Holly.
17-14 in favor of UCLA, and a point just scored by USC, so that will tighten things up. To follow up on the fanny pack, Holly, some of those players running around here with the fanny packs are high school All-Americans that would be dominating their program at the moment. The players that UCLA has sitting out would be playing at a lot of other places.
I agree. High-level high school players who are now freshmen at UCLA and sophomores. There's 5 of them that I can name, All-Americans in high school, sitting the bench waiting their turn. So I talked to them. They said, we cannot wait to be a part of that. And they're making themselves an important tool for the UCLA team as a support squad. I love it.
17-16 UCLA needs to win just one of the 3 courts out there right now, and they will defend their national title. UCLA tools the block, scores the point. It is 18-16 now. Anna Collier up off the USC bench and saying something to her pair.
Well, if you're UCLA, you want to stay on this side one more point and get that 19-16 switch from the good side.
Van Winkle put it in play. And Muno can't handle the power of USC. That is the strength of this USC pair. They are 6-1 and 6-2. And it is a 1-point advantage for UCLA as we look at the same score over at the ones.
Well, they just switched sides, so USC on the good side right now with Gradina serving. Megan McNamara to the corner. Playing to 21.
Point USC at the threes.
No, that's Abby Van Winkle. Well, it was called as a double contact. You're right, USC point.
So we're tied at the threes.
We've got set point at the ones with Nicole McNamara serving on the right side.
Oh, wow, a little thunder there by Tina Gradina, but question, is it too late? The McNamara is such a great side-out team, and they're going to have an opportunity to receive serve now.
UCLA looking to get a set point here if they can win this rally. Not going to happen. It's 19-all, win by 2 from here on out.
Oh, great decision. Nicole McNamara, the first set, going to UCLA at the ones, the first time in this tournament that Gradina and Bustamante have dropped a set.
At the threes, things could not be any closer. 19-all in this pivotal pairing of 2 of the top 3 pairs in the nation.
And the advantage right now is for USC. They've got the wind in their face. They can be really aggressive from the service line, getting UCLA out of system.
Oh, Van Winkle, that was smooth, and it's set point UCLA.
Abby Van Winkle from a good 4 feet off the net, well executed down the line.
Just a freshman, comes from fantastic volleyball pedigree. Her mom, Laurie, was a star at UCLA with my partner, Holly McPeak. What a get from Uno, but USC outlasts UCLA in that rally, and we're back to win by 2.
Muno trying to do too much with that shot from the bad side.
Paletto, one of the many Canadians here in Gulf Shores this week across all 8 rosters. A miss hit, and it will give UCLA a second chance to lock up this set.
You saw the wind affect the attack by Abby Van Winkle, and then Haley Hallgren trying to do too much, couldn't get her feet to the ball.
Set point, Muno to serve. UCLA claims the set at the 3s.
And they finish it off from the bad side. That's a good move for the Bruins to finish it off that way.
So UCLA is taking the opening set at the 1s and the 3s. They need to win just one more court to secure the national championship for the 2nd straight year. And now let's head over to the 2s.
Back and forth between the 2s. Lily Justine and Sarah Sponsel on top by a point. Therese Cannon and Sammy Slater for USC. Here goes Sponsel at the serve.
Yeah, it should be noted, UCLA is on the good side right now. So you see Sponsel unleash that serve, putting all sorts of pressure on the Trojans. They cannot handle it. An overpass, and Justine crushing it. What a read by Sponsel.
Block in the face of Sponsel. Set point for UCLA.
That's called doing your homework right there. Sponsel could see this one coming from Therese Cannon a mile away. She scooped it up and then turned it into offense with a nice little cut shot. Starting to feel it.
UCLA was down 15-10. In. Still set point for UCLA.
It's a tough position for the Trojans. Wind at your back, although you gotta serve the ball tough.
Oh, just wide by Sammy Slater, and it goes to UCLA. UCLA has taken the first set at 1, 2, and 3. They just need one more set to win a national championship here in Gulf Shores. 3 courts in action right now. UCLA has taken the first set on every court. They just need one more set, and they win the national championship. Let's go to the 3s with Sam and Holly.
And here along the shores of the Gulf of Mexico on the Cinco de Mayo, UCLA has won 2 of the first 3 points. Muno and Van Winkle taking on Paletto and Hallgren. How about fatigue? Are you seeing any fatigue from USC, Holly?
Well, all 3 of these pairs at the 1, 2, and 3 spot for USC won 2 straight this morning. I'm sure there's a little fatigue, but this is their last match of the season. I'm sure they can dig down and find it.
USC considered a power team. UCLA considered a speed-based team. Every time they've met this season, it's been #1 versus #2 in the rankings. But this is the first time where USC has actually been ranked #1 and not UCLA.
Haley Hallgren going aggressive from the service line, but I think she should have gone from the other corner directly into the wind. Let that wind move the ball around.
Describe the wind for us one more time. Which way is it blowing?
Basically, it's at Zana Muno's back, in that corner, blowing to the diagonal corner where Alexandra Poletto, the left side player, where she plays serve receive.
Muno, number 5 in white, there she is. Senior from Hermosa Beach, California.
Good transition set. Look at the slicey, dicey play by Zana Muno. Good transition kill with the wind at her back.
Muno played beach and indoor, so they did not have her full time coming into the season because of the indoor training. But Muno is the emotional leader of UCLA. And after every 7 points in the first 2 sets, they change sides. The coaches are allowed to do some coaching. It's called the walk and talk in beach volleyball. There's Stein Metzger, the Hall of Fame coach for UCLA.
And the reason why you switch sides is so not one team has that wind advantage for too long.
Coach Metzger has his team back in the national championship for the 2nd straight year with a chance to defend. Good serve.
Really tough serve by Alexandra Poletto of USC from the bad side, able to get a trickler ace against the Bruins.
Poletto right now working on her master's degree in entrepreneurship in the School of Business at USC. Our Dane Blanton has worked with her in the past. Good touch over the block by Van Winkle.
Abby Van Winkle is 6'2", going over the 6'3" Alexandra Poletto. You have to make high contact to clear the block. Look at that high contact point just over the outstretched block.
Originally, Stein Metzger thought he was going to redshirt Van Winkle, but she just proved to be too good. And now she's in the lineup. Remember all those high school All-Americans that they have sitting out this year. Van Winkle broke out of the pack to make it into the starting lineup.
If you saw that particular play, the set blew away from Alexandra Poletto. She couldn't get her feet to the ball and didn't make good contact because that ball is blowing away from her.
UCLA up 6-4 here in the 2nd set. A win in this set would give UCLA the national championship. And there is the power hammered by Hallgren.
Haley Hallgren put up a really nice set, and then Alexandra Poletto. Look at this nice apex on that set. Makes it easy for the hitter to go find it and crush it into the angle.
Poletto 6'2", Hallgren 6'1". Good block.
Zana Muno yelling at her partner Abby Van Winkle to attack right. But I always like to add high because Poletto is big. She is sealing that little sneaky shot to the right. You have to go up and over.
Good rally, and UCLA wins it. Muno secures the point for the Bruins.
Zana Muno, an all-conference indoor libero for UCLA. She's got her track shoes on. She is everywhere. And then a nice little slice up over the block that drops for the Bruins.
Muno was an outstanding soccer player until the 8th grade. She said she just got burned out on the sport, and then some volleyball royalty, Mike and Patty Dodd, actually encouraged her to go try out for a club program, and she was successful. They decided that she could play, and the rest is history.
Very successful. She was an indoor setter and opposite. She can do it all, and then also played beach volleyball, but is at UCLA on an indoor volleyball scholarship.
Mike Dodd was calling the NCAA Men's Championship last night. Long Beach State winning the title. His wife Patty, a talented player from Columbia, a volleyball Hall of Famer on the beach. Good block by Van Winkle.
That is a big time block by the freshman Abby Van Winkle, shutting down Alexandra Poletto. Any point you can score from the bad side is bonus, and watch Abby Van Winkle just shut down that line.
Van Winkle really allows Muno to play defense. Van Winkle 6'2", just a freshman. Good cut shot, 10-7 UCLA.
Really fast tempo set from the bad side, but it starts with a great pass by Abby Van Winkle. She's 6'2", but she's got great ball control, ball handling skills, and that helps them run that quick offense.
Oh, Paletto.
Really nice court vision by Alexandra Paletto. They call her Poe. She has grown up. Last year at the NCAA, she was a rookie. And now she is a talented grad student who really understands this game.
She was a rookie because she was a talented indoor player at Colorado State and then transferred to USC to play beach, had to learn the beach game.
But she had a huge win. She and Haley Hallgren were playing at the 4 position for USC and were able to upset Pepperdine at that time.
Again, UCLA needs to just win one more set across the 3 courts to defend its national championship. You have to win 3 matches within the duel. Nice touch, point USC, and the Trojans making it difficult. So there's a look at what is facing USC. They need to win 6 more sets to upset UCLA, and UCLA needs to just win one more set across the 3 courts to defend its national championship. Point UCLA, that will send them into a technical timeout. And while they sit down, we will switch courts as the action continues over at the 2s.
Lily Justine and Sarah Sponsel on top of Therese Cannon and Sammy Slater in the second set, 11-6.
Yeah, a bit of a hole for Slater and Cannon. They need to just work out their serve reception, make it a little easier on themselves. But the one thing they really have to do is take advantage of the good side. Right now, it's UCLA with the wind in their face on the good side. The wind at the back of the Trojans, you just saw that ball go long. It's so important and crucial to keep the ball in play and know exactly the direction of that wind.
So timeout is called by by USC. Here at the 2s. We'll get you over to the 1s. They just came out of the technical timeout. UCLA on top, 12-10. A win in this set wins the national championship for UCLA.
Gradina putting that ball in the corner. And wouldn't this be huge for the McNamaras if they could somehow manufacture a win over Gradina and Bustamante. That ball just out of bounds as Bustamante going for an ace down the line.
McNamara's on the good side right now. Nicole serving. Bustamante tooling the block. Beautiful hand set to set up Megan.
Yeah, and she's hitting right in that seam. And when I say seam, I mean right between where the blockers lined up and the defenders lined up. There's a little opening, and sometimes if you hit that, your hit is going to be successful. Beautiful serve. The bottom dropped out of that one.
Great up. Again, Megan is there. Bustamante going with the pokey.
What spectacular defense by Megan McNamara in the backcourt. Nicole's up at the net, goes up, takes away the line, and funnels that hit to her defender in the angle. And then to end the play, Bustamante said, I'm done with the power. How about the poke shot?
Nobody on for Bustamante. Off of the hands of Megan McNamara.
Megan McNamara was trying to go over on one there and try to get that ball off the dig into the backcourt of USC, and she just lost control of it at the last second.
You see that communication. The McNamaras have been working on that. They've started hugging this season, making sure they talk to each other in between each point. Very crucial. 9th time we've been tied in this set. Oh, Gradina puts it away.
Oh, no one up. It looked like Nicole Mcnamara possibly lost her footing, but that was a crushing by Gradina.
Over to the twos now. Lily Justine and Sarah Sponsel on top, 14-7.
Yeah, they are absolutely dominating, and the way this is going, this duel and national championship could be decided on this very court. They're on fire, Justine and Sponsel.
Over to the threes now.
UCLA maintaining the lead here, 14-12. Needing to win this set to secure the national championship if they can finish first. Van Winkle gets the kill, 15-12 for UCLA. They are 6 points away on this court.
And USC has not been able to get this UCLA pair out of system. UCLA running their quick dynamic offense.
Van Winkle to serve. And a hitting error against USC, point to UCLA. UCLA up 16-12. Well, be sure to join us for the live post-game championship trophy ceremony immediately following our duel on ESPN3. I'll be on the app. We'll have the entire post-game trophy ceremony. Van Winkle ready to serve. UCLA trying to defend its national title. USC won the first 2 NCAA titles up for grabs. This is the 4th one. It has been a sport dominated by these 2 institutions.
This is a serve from Haley Hallgren. She's on the good side, wind blowing into her face. I'd love to see her move to that far left corner. The wind will definitely help her out more with that serve.
Van Winkle has no problem.
Abby Van Winkle passing that first contact, even on the bad side, putting it forward, and then Zana Muno delivering a sweet set every time, and that leads to a high percentage side out game.
That is out, and the point goes to UCLA.
Timeout USC. Haley Hallgren, Alexandra Paletto want to talk to head coach Anna Collier, see what they can do to turn things around.
The threes are 3 points away from securing the title. Let's go to the twos.
14-7. You can make it 15-7. UCLA on top. UCLA just needs 1 set on any court to win the title.
Yeah, coming into this second flight, the 1, 2s, and 3s had a lot of pressure, and I thought that USC would have to win in straight sets possibly, or at least get something positive going by winning the first sets. Nothing has gone right for USC because of the pressure that UCLA has put on them from start to finish at every single court.
8-2 run here for UCLA. And Sammy Slater goes off of the block.
Again, USC is in on the good side here. Therese Cannon needs to try to get an ace.
It's out. Here goes Sarah Sponsel. And Therese Cannon down the line.
Solid hit right there, but Therese Cannon and Sammy Slater are in a major hole right now. How about this? UCLA pretty much on fire on every single court, and I'm so impressed at the way that they have started this and never gave USC much light right now, and they're continuing to put the pressure on.
Justine has to go over using the option. It's wide. And they will switch sides. It's close at the 2s and the 3s.
At the 3s, UCLA could reach championship point if they can win this rally. And they do. Championship point for UCLA.
Zana Muno digging everything.
Championship point at the threes. Muno back to serve. UCLA goes back to back on the beach. For the second straight year, UCLA is your NCAA national champion.
Courtney, it was just an incredible run by UCLA. They turned it around exactly when they needed to against USC. We had documented so much how the USC Trojans had defeated them over the last 4 weeks 3 times. But guess what? They were mentally strong, the Bruins, and they took it to USC from start to finish here. They earned that trophy going undefeated here at the national championship.
It's hard to win a national championship. It's hard to win 2 national championships in a row, but Stein-Metzger's crew has done it, and he's with Holly.
Well, Coach Metzger, it is so hard to go back-to-back in this sport, as you know. What was the key today coming out?
You know, I don't know if I can put my finger on the pulse. There was a lot of pressure this whole year, people having really high expectations for us. We did our best not to let those expectations sink in. You know, losing at Pac-12s against a great team, USC, really kind of shook us up a little bit. But I got to hand it to this group. Each day they felt they got more and more confident, more and more comfortable being back in the sand, and they sure proved it today.
Just over a week ago, as you mentioned, you lose to USC. So what did that do to this team to fire them up to get a little revenge of their own today?
Well, I got to be honest, USC played really well at their home facility and took it to us. And it was something that we had to deal with. And I think this team had a lot of growth in the last week, learning to deal with the diversity and how to trust each other. And they just stuck together, and they played their best match of the tournament today.
I hear emotion in your voice, Coach. You're so stoic and so stern most of the time, but I feel that emotion from you. Why?
Thanks a lot. I think this is a really special group. We have 5 seniors that were a part of really building this program. They put this program on their shoulders, and we grew from, you know, not even a top 10 ranked team to being #1 with them. And it's just a special experience to be able to send them out like this.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
UCLA, 2 national titles in a row. USC came in pretty hot. What was different for UCLA to take the advantage and get the win?
Well, you know, sometimes when you have an undefeated season going and then all of a sudden things start to get shook up, and it was SC who really shook things up for UCLA, beating them 3 times. I think that was a big wake-up call for UCLA, and they focused in, and you know what? They may have lost the Pac-12 championship, but you traded in any time for a national championship, and they recovered from last week to this week, and they overcame a team that looked like they had their number in the Trojans, and they dominated from start to finish in this final.
Sam is standing by with the pair who clinched this title, Zana Muno and Abby Van Winkle.
And they were clinching each other as well. I had to pry them apart. Zana Muno, Abby Van Winkle, congratulations. Take me through the emotion of that championship point.
I mean, it's a really interesting experience because you know it's all coming down to one point. Everybody shows up on your court. And I mean, for me, I would just like enjoy the moment. Like before I even serve the ball, like whether win or lose, like enjoy this moment because this is something that's so special and that nobody, very, very few people get to experience.
Well, this is your second one. It's your first. How do you feel, Abby?
I feel amazing. This is the best feeling I've ever had.
Could you imagine that you would be in this moment last year when you were finishing up club and junior volleyball?
No. I mean, I dreamed of it, but I never knew this would actually happen.
All right, guys, congratulations.
Thank you. Let's go!
UCLA playing its best volleyball at the right time. We want to bring in Holly McPeak. What have you seen from the Bruins over the past few days to make it to this point through the winner's bracket?
Well, I think after losing last weekend a couple times to USC, they really were on a mission. And they had the challenge of losing Leah Monkhouse. but winning the winner's bracket was a definite advantage. USC was tired. I mean, you can't diminish what USC did. Losing first round, battling all the way back in this heat, it was amazing.
Absolutely. USC had to play earlier today, and maybe that hurt them a little bit that they had to play a full duel before coming into this championship duel.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't only that. It was about 53 hours ago that this tournament began, and we documented that USC played over 500 more points than UCLA. So that's a short period of time to play a lot of matches. And like we said, it had never happened in the history of this tournament, losing the first round and coming all the way back. USC was trying to break history there, but it wasn't meant to be. UCLA was just a little too strong, and I think speed won over height and power.
Holly Rowe has the McNamara twins.
This is a senior hug right now. These seniors that Coach Steinmetzger said were so crucial to this team. You believed in this program, built it from scratch. Why did you believe so strongly in what you could build here at UCLA?
Well, I just think that since all of our freshman year, we've done everything for this program. We've worked so hard. We've done everything for our teammates, and we just knew that we were going to have to give this game everything that we had, and to come out on top, we're all just on top of the world.
You said that the tears were coming, but that they were coming before this even started. Why so emotional today for you?
Well, it started when Nicole said, "I love you more than anything in the whole wide world," and I couldn't keep it together. I'm going to cry.
You have such a different bond on the court, twins and sisters and teammates, everything. How have you guys really pulled together to help everybody be better this year?
A big thing this year was calling all 18 of us a band of sisters. So even though we're the only sisters by blood, we're all sisters, and we will be forever.
I know some of you have pro aspirations as you move on out of college, but this moment is precious that you don't get back on the pro tour. How do you soak it in?
Oh my gosh, I mean, these group of girls are my sisters. We call ourselves a band of sisters, and I came in this program 2 years ago to win some natties, and we did it, and it's because of everyone. It was a whole team, UCLA Athletics, our coaches, our supporters, parents, everyone. So it takes a village, and I'm so happy to be a part of it with these guys.
Does it make it any more sweet that this is a national championship because of who it's against?
It definitely does. I mean, Stein was saying yesterday, it's a storybook ending if we play USC in the national championship, and it absolutely was, and it's so special with all these people. Since we all got here, the culture's gotten better every single year, and it's just so fun that we got to do it with this group of girls against that team. It's perfect.
All right, I don't want to leave any senior out. Tell me the last thing that's on your mind for this UCLA Bruin team as you take this championship trophy home.
We may have lost some battles, but we frickin' won the war.
Thank you very much.
What a line from Zana. Perfect. UCLA, back-to-back titles. It's even sweeter to do it against your rival. And you mentioned speed. Beat out the size, Dane. How did UCLA do it against a very talented USC team?
Well, we've talked about how USC might have been fatigued by being knocked out early into that elimination bracket, but UCLA played sharp volleyball. It was windy out there, and the ball control really won over. You got to give a lot of credit to the Trojans trying to come all the way back. This was UCLA's year. You could tell they were on a mission from last year, and now they are two-time national champions. Steinmetzger said he started to sell a vision, then it was a national championship. Now it's looking more like a dynasty.
It came down to the threes, but we have to give credit to the 4s and 5s because that was huge for UCLA to win on both of those courts before the 1s, 2s, and 3s came on.
Yeah, it's everything. If the 4s and 5s can win in that first flight, it takes a lot of pressure off. And you saw that UCLA was very relaxed, whereas USC had a lot more tension because the pressure was on them. So give a lot of credit to the 4 and 5 pairs for UCLA for setting the table for that national championship.
Congratulations to UCLA, back-to-back national championships on the beach. For more from the trophy presentation ceremony, tune over to ESPN3. UCLA going home with the biggest prize on the beach. They take down their rival. They go back-to-back national championships here in Gulf Shores, Alabama. That feeling couldn't be any sweeter. UCLA champions.
National Collegiate Beach Volleyball
All-Tournament team. At the fives. At number 23, Lindsay. At number 55,
Huddleston. At the threes pair from UCLA, number 5, Zana Munoz. At number 21, Abby Van Winkle. At the twos pair from Stetson, number 15, Darby Dunn. At number 10, Sammy Thomas. And the ones pair from USC, number 14, Tina Gradina. At number 10, April Bustamante. Fans, let's hear it for your 2019 All-Tournament team. And now, the 2019 NCAA National Collegiate Beach Volleyball National Champion, finishing with a record of 35-3, the UCLA Bruins. Will the following individuals please come forward to receive your awards? Well, head coach Stein Metzger, please come to the court. From UCLA, Abby Van Winkle. Lindsay Sparks. Megan Murray. Leah Monkhouse. Maddie Yeomans. Savvy Simo. Lily Justine. Izzy Carey. Zana Munoz. Sarah Sponsel. Megan McNamara. And Nicole McNamara. Strength and conditioning coach, Joe Galetko. Athletic trainer, Toral Desai. Volunteer assistant, Irene Pollock. Assistant coach, Jenny Johnson Jordan. And head coach, Stein Metzger. Will head coach Stein Metzger and the team captains please come forward to accept your trophy. Congratulations to the UCLA Bruins, your 2019 NCAA National Collegiate Beach Volleyball National Champions. Fans, please direct your attention to the court for the net cutting ceremony.
Remember to smile and where are you cutting? Right there. Which piece is mine? Yeah, is it to your left or your right? You cut that. To your left? Which piece? To your left. My piece is to the left? Yeah, so this is your piece. Okay, shit.
Ladies on my count. Cut the net. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, God. Oh, you're so Oh, what the hell?
Oh, I'm missing it.
I did it!